Desire is a powerful starting point, but on its own it has never been enough to change a life. Everyone wants more success, more confidence, more stability, more meaning. Wanting is easy. What separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck is not the strength of their desire, but the clarity of their plan. Planning is the bridge that carries intention into action and action into results. When a goal exists only in the mind, it remains vulnerable to emotion, distraction, and delay. But when that same goal is written down, structured, and supported by a plan, it gains weight and direction. Planning forces honesty. It asks hard questions. What exactly do I want? Why does it matter? What must change? These questions turn vague wishes into clear objectives. Without this process, effort becomes scattered and time gets wasted on activities that feel productive but lead nowhere. A plan gives direction to energy. Hard work without a plan is like pushing a car. With a handbrake on, you expend effort, but progress is slow and frustrating. With a plan, every action has a purpose. Each step, no matter how small, is connected to a larger outcome. This connection creates momentum, and momentum is what turns ordinary days into extraordinary results over time. Planning also replaces confusion with confidence. When people lack a plan, they often hesitate, overthink, and second-guess themselves. Decisions feel heavy because there is no clear standard to measure them against. A plan provides that standard. It becomes a filter for daily choices, helping determine what deserves attention and what should be ignored. This clarity reduces stress and increases focus, allowing consistent forward movement instead of constant restarting. Importantly, planning does not require perfection. It is not about predicting every obstacle or controlling every outcome. It is about committing to a direction and being willing to adjust while moving forward. A flexible plan is far more powerful than no plan at all. It allows learning, growth, and correction without losing sight of the goal. Results are never random. They are designed. Behind every achievement lies a series of planned decisions made in advance and followed with discipline. The life someone ends up living is often the result of the plans they created or failed to create years earlier. When desire is matched with intentional planning, progress becomes inevitable. That is why planning is not optional for success, it is essential. When there is no plan, life defaults to reaction. Days begin without direction and end without progress, not because of a lack of ability, but because there was no intention guiding action. In a reactive life, priorities are decided by urgency rather than importance. The loudest demand, the nearest problem, or the strongest emotion takes control. Over time, this pattern creates exhaustion without achievement. Reactive living slowly hands over control of time and energy to external forces, instead of choosing how the day will be spent. Individuals respond to messages, requests, interruptions, and expectations set by others. This leads to a constant feeling of being busy while moving nowhere meaningful. The absence of planning allows distractions to masquerade as responsibilities, and before long, weeks and years pass without measurable progress. Without a plan, decision-making becomes emotionally driven. Choices are made based on comfort, fear, or convenience rather than long-term value. When challenges arise, there is no framework to rely on, only impulse. This is why many people quit too early, change direction too often, or settle for less than they are capable of achieving. A plan acts as an anchor during uncertainty, reminding individuals why they started and where they are going. Planning restores ownership. It shifts a person from reacting to leading. When goals are defined and actions are scheduled, time becomes intentional instead of accidental. Each day gains structure and each task gains meaning. This does not eliminate problems, but it changes the way problems are handled. Instead of derailing progress, obstacles become part of the process, anticipated and managed rather than feared. A life without planning is often shaped by circumstances rather than choice. People end up living routines they never consciously selected, following paths they never intentionally chose. This creates frustration and regret, not because life was unfair, but because direction was never claimed. Planning is the act of declaring responsibility for one's future. It is a decision to stop drifting and start steering. Reactive living feels easier in the moment because it avoids discipline and commitment. But over time, it becomes costly. Planning requires effort up front, but it saves years of wasted potential. When individuals move from reacting to planning, they regain control of their time, sharpen their focus, and begin building a life by design rather than by default. Lasting progress is rarely dramatic or immediate. It is built quietly through small actions repeated with consistency over time. Many people overestimate what can be achieved in a short burst of effort and underestimate what disciplined daily actions can accomplish over months and years. Planning brings these small actions into focus and turns them into a system that works even when motivation fades. Without a plan, effort tends to be inconsistent. People act when they feel inspired and stop when they don't. This emotional approach creates cycles of starting strong and quitting early. A plan removes emotion from execution. It defines what needs to be done regardless of mood, energy level, or external circumstances. When actions are scheduled and specific, discipline replaces willpower and progress becomes more reliable. Small actions gain power through repetition. Reading a few pages daily may seem insignificant, but over time it builds knowledge and perspective. Saving a small amount regularly may feel slow, yet it compounds into financial stability. Improving one skill step by step eventually creates expertise. Planning identifies these high-impact actions and ensures they are practiced consistently rather than occasionally. Consistency also builds confidence. Each completed action reinforces trust in oneself. Momentum grows not from massive achievements, but from keeping small promises daily. A plan provides structure for these promises. It transforms abstract goals into actionable steps that can be measured, reviewed, and improved. This process creates a sense of progress that fuels continued effort. Sustainable success depends on systems, not bursts of intensity. Intensity fades quickly, but systems endure. Planning is the foundation of these systems. It aligns daily behavior with long-term vision, ensuring that today's actions contribute to tomorrow's results. When life becomes busy or challenging, a system keeps progress moving forward, even at a slower pace. Progress does not require perfection. Missed days and mistakes are part of the journey. What matters is returning to the plan and continuing forward. Consistent action, guided by planning, allows growth to compound. Over time, these small, intentional steps create results that appear extraordinary to others, even though they were built through ordinary discipline practiced every day. Many people believe planning limits freedom, but this belief comes from misunderstanding what freedom truly means. Freedom is not the absence of structure. It is the ability to choose intentionally. Planning does not restrict life, it removes chaos. When there is no plan, decisions are controlled by pressure, urgency, and uncertainty. With a plan, choices are guided by purpose and clarity. A planned life reduces unnecessary stress. When goals are clear and actions are defined, the mind is no longer burdened with constant decision-making. Energy that was once wasted on confusion and worry can be directed toward growth and creativity. Planning creates mental space, allowing individuals to focus on execution rather than constantly figuring out what to do next. True freedom comes from preparation. Financial freedom begins with budgeting and long-term planning. Physical freedom is built through planned habits around health and energy. Time freedom is created by prioritizing tasks instead of reacting to interruptions. In every area of life, structure is what produces flexibility. Those who plan ahead are better equipped to handle change because they are not starting from disorder. Planning also builds confidence. When individuals know where they are going and how they intend to get there, uncertainty loses its power. Even when plans need adjustment, having a direction provides stability. This confidence allows for better decision-making and greater resilience during challenges. Rather than feeling trapped by circumstances, people with a plan feel capable of navigating them. Without planning, freedom becomes an illusion. Days may feel open, but they are often filled by other people's demands and unexpected problems. Over time, this leads to fatigue and frustration. Planning ensures that personal goals receive protected time and attention. It allows individuals to say no to distractions without guilt because their priorities are already defined. Planning does not eliminate spontaneity, it makes it safer. When responsibilities are handled intentionally, there is room to enjoy opportunities without stress. A well-planned life supports balance, growth, and peace of mind. Instead of limiting potential, planning expands it, creating a foundation where true freedom can exist and progress can continue without constant struggle. Progress accelerates when plans are reviewed, refined, and acted upon with accountability. A plan written once and ignored loses its power, but a plan that is revisited regularly becomes a living guide. Review creates awareness, and awareness drives improvement. When individuals pause to evaluate what is working and what is not, they regain control over direction and pace. Daily and weekly reflection transforms effort into intelligence. It highlights patterns, exposes wasted time, reveals small adjustments that can create better results. Without review, mistakes repeat quietly. With review, lessons are captured and applied. This habit prevents stagnation and keeps progress aligned with intention rather than routine. Accountability strengthens commitment. When actions are measured against a plan, excuses lose influence. Progress becomes visible, and visibility creates responsibility. Whether accountability comes from personal standards, written tracking, or trusted partners, it reinforces discipline. People perform differently when they know their actions will be examined. Accountability turns good intentions into consistent behavior. Planning also sharpens focus by limiting options. When priorities are clearly defined, energy is concentrated instead of scattered. Focus increases effectiveness, and effectiveness builds confidence. Rather than doing many things poorly, individuals begin doing fewer things well. This deliberate focus reduces burnout and increases satisfaction, because effort produces visible results. Execution matters more than complexity. Simple plans executed daily outperform elaborate plans that remain theoretical. The power lies not in how impressive the plan looks, but in how faithfully it is followed. Action reveals truth. It shows which goals matter, which strategies work, and where growth is needed. Planning without execution is fantasy. Execution without review is chaos. Together they create progress. Over time, this cycle of planning, acting, reviewing, and adjusting builds mastery. Confidence grows because results are no longer accidental. Momentum becomes sustainable because actions are intentional. Progress stops feeling fragile and starts feeling earned. Future shaped by clarity, discipline, and reflection is not reserved for the gifted. It is available to anyone willing to plan, act, and evaluate honestly. When accountability and review become habits, progress stops being occasional and becomes predictable. Progress is never a mystery when intention is clear. Each paragraph leads to the same truth. Direction determines destination. Desire initiates the journey, but planning sustains it. When life is designed instead of reacted to, effort gains purpose and time gains value. Small actions, guided by clarity, begin to compound into meaningful results. Consistent progress comes from ownership. Ownership of time, decisions, habits, and direction. Planning replaces uncertainty with confidence and transforms discipline into freedom. It allows adjustment without losing purpose and growth without chaos. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable when broken into intentional steps. Ultimately, progress is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It belongs to those who decide in advance how they will live, what they will pursue, and who they are willing to become. When planning, consistency, focus, and accountability work together, success stops being accidental and becomes inevitable. No plan leads to drifting, but a clear plan followed daily leads to a life of purpose, control, and lasting achievement.